Hello everyone. Making a video in regards to the Pope's visit again. There is much research that needs to be done by my Catholic brothers and sisters, for they don't know what is truly going on. The Pope is coming to Washington, D.C., to New York City, and to Philadelphia, and the smiley face that they're putting on this is the meeting of the families. Now, what they don't tell you is who the families really are. They want people to believe that the families are the families of the masses. But the reality is, this is a bloodline family New World Order launching party. It's so difficult to go through this information because most Catholics don't know what's really going on because they have been complacent. And the only way that the New World Order can be defeated is if the Catholics actually wake up to the truth of what the Vatican is all about. And if they never do, then we're in a world of trouble. It's been prophesied in the Bible what is to happen, and what is to happen is unfolding right now. God the Father, the creator of the universe, of all that is seen and unseen, is opposed to the Pope. The Pope is opposed to God. The Pope implements man's laws, does not support God's laws, the Torah. This is a huge conspiracy, and people need to get their head around it. I'm going to cover as much as I can in as short a period of time, try to make this a 15-minute video, but it's a pregnant video. There's going to be many links to articles that need to be read. So I'm going to touch on them as much as I can, covering as much information as I can as fast as possible. After the projected arrival to Washington, D.C. on December 22nd, they're proposing that Pope Francis visit the White House the following morning, where the official welcoming ceremony would take place. You have to understand that the Pope controls the District of Columbia and the President. To separate money from the Catholic Church is impossible. The history of the Catholic Church goes back to the Knights Templars, who charged fees, protection money. It's like the mob. They charged a protection money fee for those who were pilgrimaging to the Holy Land. And if people didn't pay this ransom, they would be robbed while they were in their pilgrimage. And this is the oldest form of mafia there is. And it's going on today. Only it takes place globally and internationally with the petrodollar in the Middle East with Saudi Arabia. But I'm not even going to go there. The United Nations General Assembly would be its destination on the morning of the 25th, which is also opening on the third day post-2015 Sustainable Development Summit. This is the true reason for the visit. It's all about Agenda 2030 and the implementation of the New World Order. And there's no other way to hide it. Practically all the heads of states of government will be around, and they will all be there on that day. So if the Pope were to finalize this visit to the United States, that would mean that he would address all the heads of states and of governments who will be sitting with their official delegations, the Archbishop explained. The United Nations is the arm that is being used globally for the New World Order to implement the Pope's plan. The Pope's plan for the New World Order is Satan's plan for the New World Order. God's plan for the universe. Everywhere else in the universe obeys these laws except planet Earth, which is run by Satan, are the Torah, the 10 Commandments plus the 2 that Jesus brought, and the first 5 books of the Old Testament. Catholics don't know this. They're not taught this by the priests. The priests keep everything hidden, always. They paint a picture, but it's not the true picture. This is where the deception is unfolding, And it's taking place right now. And if people don't wake up, and if Catholics especially don't wake up to the reality of what's coming, they will be the victims. They will be the goyim. They will be let off the cliff. And this is their plan. The Pope will be visiting Ground Zero, the site of the terrorist attack on September 11th, the scene of the original crime, the scene of the crime that implemented the Patriot Act, that is taking away all of our rights as Americans. And the propagandists in the news media are supporting everything of this New World Order. And these are the members of the organizational committee for the visit, and these are your contacts. It's important to show who these people are, because they are the ones that are implementing the change. I'll provide all these links down below. This is a link to the Agenda 2030, Agenda for Sustainable Development. It paints a rosy picture. They talk about eliminating poverty. What they don't tell you is their method for eliminating poverty. Their method is depopulation. If the Vatican really wanted to eliminate poverty, they would open up their coffers, they would sell all their gold, as Jesus told them to, and they would give the money to the people. There would be a true Jubilee, where land is given back to the people, corporations give back all of their money, and there is no debt. All debt is forgiven. That would be a true Jubilee under God's law. Their plan is Agenda 2030, which benefits only the rich corporations and only the church and those that are subservient thereon. If people don't wake up, they're coming. Just like the Nazis did in World War II. They plan on World War III to implement this change. They use world wars in order to cause cataclysmic change in society. They did it for World War I, they did it for World War II, and they're going to do it for World War III. And the ultimate resolution of this is those who believe in God, the true God, the creator of the universe, and not the man-made religion God, will be killed. That's their plan. The emerging development agenda is universal, calling for action by low, middle, and high income countries alike. In the current draft document, member states pledge that no one will be left behind. The New World Order is all-inclusive. Indeed, the 2030 agenda encompasses a universal, transformative, and integrated agenda heralding a historic global turning point. World Bank Group President Jim Yong Kim, the focus for the Sustainable Development Goals on people, planet, prosperity, peace, and partnership provides comprehensive and robust development path for the world to follow over the next 15 years. This is man's law. It's not God's law. Man's law is destined to fail. By God. God will make sure that it fails. And these Satanists believe that they are doing well in the name of prosperity and helping the poor. They don't say helping the poor. They say ending poverty. You end poverty by giving money to people. We are committed to helping meet them by supporting their implementation, providing finance, and collecting and sharing data. In regards to the World Bank, Karen Hudes has been coming out trying to tell people how corrupt the World Bank is and the International Monetary Fund is. And they are. They are owned by Satan. Snowden has come out with much release in regards to data sharing and the NSA and how the United States government and these Jesuit-controlled politicians and every corporation, Google, Builderberg, etc., all work and conspire together to track everyone. It's all about money. It's all about the United Nations. It's all about enslavement. And people think that they're going to get away with all of this and it's a hypocrisy. There's no way. The New American comes out and they show how this global plan has a price tag of trillions of dollars. Who's going to pay? Who's going to make the money? The money is going to come from the poor while they're being eliminated. The middle class of America has a target on its forehead. And most middle class Americans are Catholics and Protestants, anyone who believes in God. From billions to trillions, with little fanfare and paltry news coverage, the United Nations negotiators were working this week at a conference on sustainable development finance in the Ethiopian capital of Addis Ababa. They are hoping to put the final touches on a global plan, one with a price tag in the trillions of dollars. The grandiose plan is to be sprung on the world in September at the UN Summit of Development Finance. The UN's SDG plan is so closely intertwined with the United Nations agenda on global warming, which is scheduled to culminate with the mammoth climate change conference planned for December in Paris. The pace that has been fast and furious, Satan has to rush because he knows his time is short. As the United Nations dedicated poverty fighters have been jetting between luxurious feasts and extravagant soirees at five-star hotels, Michelin-star restaurants, and gold-plated conference centers at various global venues. But it is extremely important, and I'll provide the links below. The bottom line is, this is the destruction of the world as we know it, because the banksters, the Council on Foreign Relations, and their cronies, this is a list. The World Bank, for instance, is clear that the CFR has a hammerlock on the institution from the get-go for the 12 men that have served as president for the World Bank since 1946. 9 have been prominent CFR members. Here's the list of the 12. The current World Bank president, Kim, for instance, while not formally a CFR member, has been warmly embraced and enthusiastically promoted by the CFR's blogs and publications, and has been a featured guest on the CFR's special televised events programs. He regurgitates the CFR's One World message and is clearly in sync with their globalist program to invest trillions of dollars extracted from the savers and taxpayers in the United Nations designated projects and programs that will be funded through the World Bank, IMF, MDBs, and their Wall Street partners. Everything points back to Khazars, the Khazarian Khazar-Nazi Jews. Jorge Mario Bergoglio, the first Jesuit pope, a fanatical military sect of the Vatican, which includes the Knights of Columbus, Knights of Malta, Knights Templars, Masons of the Scottish Rite, Skull and Bones, Grand Orient Lodge, Priory of Sion, Rosicrucians, Bavarian Illuminati, and most senior Jesuits, as referenced to as the Black Pope. Jesuits were and still are the reincarnation of the Pharisees. Now this is an interesting article where they go into the relationship between the Khazarians, the Khazar-Nazi Jews, and the Catholics. And most people that I know don't want to know this stuff, because the reality is it's horrific. But the reality is it's the only thing that makes sense, and it's the only thing that you can see unfolding and taking place. Pope Benedict was a cryptic Jew. It's also interesting that a new book claims that Pope Benedict was actually a crypto-Jew and traces his Jewish genealogy, which is no surprise because most religious clerics who claim to be Christians or Muslims practice demonism and ritual sacrifice behind the scenes, which is the religion of the Khazar-Jews.